solving equations with a distributive property in them. So we are going to talk about two different ways that you can handle problems like this, okay? And it's really just a preference of which way you like better. So method one is going to be to distribute first. So use your distributive property, and then from there, just solve the equation like normal. Method two is going to be instead that you use your reverse order of operations. Okay, and both of these methods are good and valid and fine. Okay, so let's take a look first at the distributing method. So when you want to distribute and then solve, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start by using my distributive property. So 3 times 2x is 6x, 3 times 1 is 3. Forgot to put my line for my equal sign, and then 6. And then we're just going to solve this like normal. So the first thing I undo is my adding or subtracting. So I need to get rid of the plus 3. So I'll subtract 3 from both sides. That cancels. I'm left with 6x. 6 minus 3 is 3. And then to get the x by itself, I'm going to divide both sides by 6. Okay, and then 3 divided by 6, that's not going to be a whole number. So I'm going to leave it as a fraction, 3 over 6. But you do want to simplify that, right? So you can divide top and bottom by 3. Remember, you simplify fractions, and that works out to a half. So that's going to be my answer there. Okay, so that's method one. Okay, now method two is that you use the reverse order of operations. And you might be thinking to yourself, Miss King, haven't we been using the reverse order of operations all this time? You have. Okay, but let's take a look really quick at what our order of operations is. So order of operations, we'd first undo the subtracting and adding, then the multiplying, dividing, then the exponents, then the grouping symbols. Take a look at this equation, right? The 2x plus 1, that's grouping symbols. So if we're really following the reverse order of operations, then we would do that last, okay? So this means 3 times the grouping symbol. So the 3 times would technically be a multiplication or division step. So if we want to go true reverse order of operations, then the first thing that I would do is I would start by dividing both sides by 3, which will cancel that out. And then what am I left with? I'm left with the 2x plus 1. I don't need the grouping symbols anymore because they were grouping together the 2x plus 1. And since that's the only thing that's left, you don't need to keep those together anymore. Okay, so then my equal sign, 6 divided by 3 is 2. And now we can just solve it from here. So from here, there's no more grouping symbols. So I go back to my reverse order of operations. I've got a adding and I've got a multiplication. You want to do the adding first. So that'll cancel. I have 2x equals 1. And then divide both sides by 2. And there's the same answer that we got before, 1/2. Okay, so either one of these two methods will work. So let's do it again with this guy down here. So method one, for this one, I would start by distributing. So negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times negative 4, well, 2 times 4 is 8. And multiplication, division bear. That was a pretty bad one, right? Negative 2 times negative 4 is positive 8. All right, so then there we go. And now we're going to solve this equation. So I'm going to undo this addition first with some subtraction. I'll get negative 2x equals negative 8 and negative 8, right? So that's like 8 fires and then 8 more fires. That's going to be 16 fires. And then I have to divide both sides by the negative 2. So I'm going to get x equals 16 divided by 2 is 8. And a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So positive 8 is my answer. Great. All right. Now, if I went the other way and I did this with reverse order of operations, then my first step would be to divide by the negative 2 in front. So I'm going to divide both sides by the negative 2. That's going to leave me with just x minus 4 over here. And over here, negative 8 divided by negative 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. And a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So positive 4. And then to solve this, I just have to add 4 to both sides. So I'm going to get x equals 8. Again, same answer that we got on the last one. It's just a different method. Okay, so method one, method two, it does not matter which one you prefer. You can use either. I will never ask you to do one method or the other. You will always be able to choose which method you would like to do. So it's just different ways of doing things. Sometimes things click with certain people that don't click with other people. Okay, so that is how you solve an equation that has a distributive property in it.